Philippines, the winners of Strictly Come Dancing 2018 has been revealed as Stacey Dooley, beating Jo Sugg, Ashley Roberts and Faye Toster to the Glitterable trophy for 2018. In other news, a massive fire has broken out at a Chester zoo. It is thought to have broken out at Monsoon Forest Habitat. Ariana Grande has announced that she will be putting on a special Manchester concert sometime in 2019. In local news, Jill's Roundabout is to reopen for Christmas and New Year, with the work commencing again on the 6th January 2019. Crawley Town are prepared to take on Carlisle United, hoping to bounce back from the defeat to Macclesfield last weekend. Good morning and welcome along to the coming of Hurricane Dean Revisited. With me, Kevin Oliver. I have the live tracks from S Club 7, Michael Bublé and Faith Hill to begin the next 30 minutes of non-stop music for your morning. On today's show, I will be taking a trip down memory lane as I relive Hurricane Dean. I will also reveal how you can get involved with today's show in a couple of minutes' time. If you would like to get your favorite track on air this morning, simply tweet me at CathOliver17 or find me on Facebook at Catherine Oliver Radio. I would love to give you a mention on today's show. To give you a travel update every 15 minutes on the coming of Hurricane Dean Revisited, beginning in my hometown of Crawley. Crawley Avenue is going back to normal following the earlier delays at Ifield Avenue. M25 in Hertfordshire is moving very slowly following a broken down car and ongoing repairs clockwise from Junction 24 at Stag Hill and Porter's Bar to Junction 25. 4 in Berkshire is moving very slowly following another broken down vehicle eastbound between Junction 10 Wokingham Bracknell and Junction 9 Maidenhead. I am really looking forward to taking you on a tale of discovery and find out what it's like to face a Category 5 hurricane. It was the most intense storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. Hurricane Wilma hit the area a couple of years ago. Before, I was feeling so excited about going to Mexico for the very first time, and facing a hurricane was the last thing on my mind. The 5th day into our time in Playa Carmen, we found that Hurricane Dean was heading for Playa Carmen. In that moment, I was feeling emotional because I didn't come to Mexico to face a Category 5 hurricane. I also thought it was a bad idea to come to Mexico, but I didn't mean it, and emotions were running off the scale. When we wanted to leave, we couldn't because the flights in and out of Cancun were fully booked, so we had no option but to stay in the area. M1 in Bedfordshire is moving very slowly southbound following a lane being shut, and debris are also adding to the delays at Dunstable Road to Junction 10, Luton Airport Spur Road. M25 in Buckinghamshire is moving very slowly, following the earlier obstruction clockwise after Junction 16 of the M40, also delayed to Junction 15 of the M4 interchange. Since it happened, all lanes have been reopened. Leading up to Hurricane Dean making landfall in Blotto Common, we could see businesses and restaurants being boarded up, and it was like a ghost town. I have never experienced anything like that before in my life. It was becoming more real all the time that Hurricane Dean was heading our way, and there was nothing that we could do to stop it from coming. Several days before Hurricane Dean, we needed to get food that didn't need to be heated, and the supermarkets were very busy because everyone was getting food. M4 in London is moving very slowly, following a lane being shut as a result of recovery work westbound at Junction 2 of the A4 Great West Road, Brentford. Also delays to Junction 1 Chiswick Roundabout. Take care if you are heading in that direction. M25 Hertfordshire is going back to normal after a broken down vehicle was removed clockwise from Junction 23 of the A1 St Mims to Junction 24 Stag Hill Protest Bar. The hotel management told us to stay in our rooms from 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. the next morning and stay away from the windows in case we got hit by flying glass. The Mexican government banned all sale of alcohol until Hurricane Dean was over because they were afraid that looting may occur. A recap of the news headlines. Flights in and out of Gatwick Airport had to be suspended last night after 2 drones entered Gatwick Airport airfield. Some flights had to be diverted to Luton, London, Heathrow, and even as far as Manchester. It still remains how the drones entered the airport in the first place. It is thought to have started around 9 p.m. It still remains unclear when the airport will reopen. Stacey Dooley beat Joe Sugg, Ashley Roberts and Faye Toaster to win Strictly Come Dancing 2018. A massive fire has broken out at a Chester Zoo. It is thought to have broken out at Monsoon Forest Habitat. Ariana Grande has announced that she will be putting on a special Manchester concert sometime in 2019. In sport, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been appointed the caretaker manager of Manchester United until the end of the season. Crawley Avenue in Crawley is moving very slowly both ways at Horsham Road, Jules Roundabout in the roadworks area are adding to the delays in and out of the town centre. Restrictions and temporary traffic lights are also in place in the area. M25 in Surrey is moving very slowly following the earlier accident anti-clockwise with a van and a car involved from Junction 6 of the A22 to Claggett Lane services, also delays to Junction 7 of the M23 interchange. All lanes have been reopened. King's Cross Road in St Pancras is moving very slowly due to a burst water main, with part of the road being shut are also adding to the delays. On the night of Hurricane Dean, we had to take shelter in a nearby restaurant. At the same time, it was absolutely pounding with rain. When we went back to our hotel apartment, that was when it really got going, and the lightning was absolutely amazing. Every so often we could hear ambulances all the time. The power would be going on and off again every so often. It was absolutely terrifying and have never experienced anything like that before in my life. The day after, we could see dead fish everywhere, and the beach was completely unrecognizable. When we first arrived in Playa del Carmen, there was a time during the holiday when we wanted to go to a local theme park, but when we got there, it was shut because they were still clearing up from Hurricane Dean. When we were flying home to England, there were people wearing I Survived Hurricane Dean t-shirts, and that made our day. I would have dealt with Hurricane Dean so much better if I had a strawberry daiquiri in my hand, but I couldn't, because Mexican government banned all sale of alcohol until Hurricane Dean was over. Even though Hurricane Dean was a terrifying experience, I knew that it would be something that I would remember for years to come. You can watch all the documentaries on hurricanes, but nothing can ever prepare you when it happens to you. I had no idea of when I experienced Hurricane Dean. I would still be talking about this 11 years on. I feel blessed to have experienced a once-in-a-lifetime event, even if I wouldn't have said that at the time. Thank you very much for joining me on this installment of the Coming of Hurricane Dean we visited.